The British monarchy has just been plunged into its most explosive, unprecedented crisis in modern history, and the halls of Buckingham Palace are echoing with shockwaves that no one saw coming. What started as a quiet summer getaway has instantly spiraled into a catastrophic scandal, leaving the entire nation utterly speechless, and the royal family in absolute freefall. High-resolution leaked yacht photos featuring Queen Camilla have suddenly surfaced online, unleashing an immediate, scorching firestorm that has completely shattered the illusion of royal dignity. The images, captured under mysterious circumstances, have stripped away decades of carefully orchestrated public relations in a matter of seconds. But while the world gasps at the shocking visuals spreading across the internet like wildfire, the true nightmare is happening behind closed doors. Prince William has just made a ruthless, earth-shattering decision. A cold, calculated move against Camilla that has left royal aides paralyzed with fear and high-level officials scrambling for damage control. This isn't just another royal disagreement. This is an all-out war for the very survival of the crown. Insiders report that Prince William's reaction was swift, severe, and entirely unforgiving, marking a point of no return between the heir to the throne and the queen consort. Secrets that were buried for decades are now threatening to tear the family apart piece by piece. Stay tuned, because the shocking sequence of events that unfolded next will change everything you thought you knew about the royal succession forever. To truly comprehend the sheer scale of the earthquake currently shattering the foundation of Buckingham Palace, one must step back and look at the deep, treacherous fault lines that have fractured the royal family for decades. The relationship between Prince William and Queen Camilla has never been a simple story of family harmony. Instead, it has been a fragile, carefully orchestrated truce. A delicate Cold War kept hidden behind forced smiles, polished public appearances, and strict palace protocols. But beneath that pristine veneer of royal unity lies a dark history of intense heartbreak, unresolved anger, and a deep-seated rivalry that was always destined to detonate. For Prince William, Camilla's presence within the royal inner circle has forever been linked to the most traumatic chapter of his life: the public humiliation and tragic loss of his mother, Princess Diana. The painful memories of the 1990s, when royal scandal dominated global headlines and tore his parents' marriage apart, left an indelible mark on the young prince's psyche. To William, Camilla was not just a figure in his father's life. She was the central catalyst of the family's unraveling. As he grew into his role as the heir to the throne, William maintained a icy, professional distance from Camilla, enduring her integration into the family only out of respect for King Charles and a duty to protect the institution of the monarchy. However, behind the scenes, high-ranking courtiers and palace aides always knew that this fragile peace was built on shaky ground. Over the past few years, as King Charles assumed the throne, the power dynamics inside the palace underwent a massive, seismic shift. Queen Camilla began stepping up her influence, securing pivotal advisory roles, shaping palace decisions, and consolidating her power within the royal court. Leaked reports from high-level palace insiders suggest that Camilla's growing authority subtly began to clash with Prince William's vision for the future of the monarchy. William, representing the modern future of the crown, often found himself at odds with the traditional, entrenched network of advisors backing Camilla. The tension only escalated in recent months as the royal household navigated unprecedented health crises and mounting public scrutiny. With King Charles stepping back from certain public duties to focus on his health, a massive vacuum of power emerged within the gates of the palace. Instead of bringing the family together, this power vacuum turned Buckingham Palace into a battlefield of whispers, secret meetings, and competing factions. On one side stood Queen Camilla and her longtime loyalists, determined to protect her newly established position and preserve her influence. On the other side stood Prince William, driven by a fierce determination to safeguard his mother's legacy and protect the future of the crown for his own children. Palace aides described the atmosphere inside the royal residences during this period as suffocatingly tense. Conversations were clipped, schedules were deliberately arranged to avoid unexpected encounters, and communication between William's office at Kensington Palace and Camilla's staff was filtered through strict formal channels. Private secretaries were reportedly caught in the crossfire, struggling to manage two conflicting agendas while maintaining the illusion of a united royal front to the global media. The world saw a family carrying out its duties, but behind closed doors, a storm was brewing. A storm born from years of suppressed resentment, strategic maneuvering, and unspoken grievances. What the public failed to realize was that this hidden Cold War was reaching its boiling point, just as the family prepared for their annual summer retreat. The royal summer holiday, traditionally a time of privacy, relaxation, and family bonding away from the prying eyes of the press, was meant to diffuse the growing friction. Instead, it proved to be the calm before an unprecedented storm. Whispers among palace staff revealed that private discussions leading up to the holiday were plagued by intense disagreements over privacy protocols, security arrangements, and media access. Prince William had explicitly voiced concerns regarding security breaches and the potential risk of invasive media coverage, urging the household to maintain absolute secrecy during their time abroad. Yet, despite these warnings, high-stakes decisions were made, and security measures were dangerously relaxed surrounding a private luxury yacht retreat in the Mediterranean. High-level royal commentators now believe that the vulnerabilities created during this trip were not merely accidental oversights, but catastrophic failures of palace management. The historic tension between a future king haunted by his mother's past and a queen consort striving to solidify her royal standing had finally reached a point of no return. The stage was set, the fractures were exposed, and all it took was a single spark to ignite the entire powder keg. As the private luxury yacht set sail into open waters, no one inside the royal court could have anticipated that a secret photographer was lying in wait, ready to capture visuals that would shatter the monarchy's peace forever. The fragile truce was about to evaporate, setting off a chain reaction of betrayal and confrontation that would force Prince William to take the most dangerous gamble of his royal life. The Mediterranean sun was beaming brightly down on the sparkling waters off the coast of southern Europe, but inside the secure, high-tech command center of Kensington Palace, an icy chill descended that froze every aide in their tracks. It was precisely 6:14 a.m. when the private encrypted satellite line between royal intelligence officers and Prince William rang. A series of high-resolution, unedited photos had just been uploaded onto a black-market Mediterranean paparazzi server. Within minutes, those images were acquired by international tabloid outlets and posted across global digital platforms. The photo showed Queen Camilla aboard a ultra-exclusive $50 million superyacht, relaxing in an extraordinarily candid, compromised, and unroyal manner alongside a high-profile European defense tycoon whose firm is currently under intense international financial investigation. The visual contrast was devastating. While the British public was navigating severe economic tightening, and King Charles was managing his fragile health away from public view, Queen Camilla was captured enjoying extravagant luxury with a figure whose very name carried massive political fallout. In several photos, confidential-looking documents stamped with royal seal insignias could be seen resting on a table right beside them. The internet ignited like a dry forest in a wildfire. Millions of posts, retweets, and TikTok breakdowns flooded social media in less than 2 hours. Hashtags demanding immediate answers began trending globally at number 1, as shocked citizens and political commentators demanded to know how the Queen consort could be involved in such an astonishing breach of royal decorum and national security. Inside the palace walls, absolute panic broke out. Emergency meetings were called across every major department. Cell phones rang incessantly. Royal press secretaries hyperventilated in the hallways, and crisis management teams attempted to draft defensive statements. But the damage was already done. The pictures weren't just a mild protocol breach. They were a catastrophic PR nightmare that threatened to incinerate the credibility of the crown in a single morning. Over at Clarence House, Queen Camilla's inner team scrambled to issue an immediate blanket denial, claiming the photos were digitally manipulated and demanding an emergency media blackout across the United Kingdom. Leaked text messages between high-ranking press officers, later published by a rogue French news portal, showed frantic exchanges. "We cannot suppress this. The images are authentic. William is seeing them right now, and he is absolutely nuclear." And nuclear he was. Prince William did not just react with anger. He reacted with a ruthless, cold fury that sent shockwaves through the royal hierarchy. Witnesses at Kensington Palace reported that William slammed his fist onto the mahogany briefing table, declaring that the honor of his late mother, Princess Diana, and the future of his children's monarchy were being dragged through the dirt for cheap vanity. He refused to attend the emergency Zoom conference called by Camilla's communications team, famously telling a senior courtier, "I am done protecting the people who are destroying this family from within." William immediately ordered his personal security detail to intercept all communication channels coming out of Camilla's office. He demanded an immediate, unredacted report from British security services to determine how a foreign tycoon managed to get so close to the Queen consort on a private vessel, and who authorized the catastrophic security clearance. The atmosphere was so suffocatingly intense that several junior staff members were seen leaving the premises in tears, unable to handle the screaming matches echoing down the historical corridors. Then came the first catastrophic twist, one that turned a massive public relations scandal into an historic constitutional nightmare. As Prince William's personal cybersecurity team analyzed the raw digital metadata, embedded within the original high-resolution photo files to track down the rogue photographer, they discovered a hidden, encrypted digital footprint buried inside the image code. The photos were not taken from a long-distance naval paparazzi boat with a telephoto lens as everyone originally believed. The camera's precise elevation, GPS coordinates, and focal angle proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the photographs were taken from inside the private VIP guest quarters of the yacht itself. The leak was an inside job. When analysts traced the hidden digital routing key used to upload the raw files to the Mediterranean server, the IP address bounced directly back to a private, encrypted satellite router registered to a senior member of Queen Camilla's own personal inner circle, her longtime personal private secretary and confidant. The images had not been stolen by intrusive foreign press. They had been deliberately staged, captured, and leaked from within Camilla's private team. Prince William stood in his office, staring at the digital forensic report in complete disbelief. The realization hit like a physical blow. This wasn't a tragic security failure or bad luck. It was an intentional, calculated sabotage designed to engineer a massive distraction. But why? What dark, earth-shattering secret was Queen Camilla's team trying to cover up by leaking these yacht photos to the media first? Before William could even process the terrifying implications of this internal betrayal, his private line buzzed with an urgent text message from an unlisted number. The message contained a single line of text and an encrypted audio file. "The yacht photos are just the smokescreen. Your Royal Highness. Look at what they signed while on board." The war for the crown had officially crossed the point of no return. The room fell into an agonizing, suffocating silence as Prince William stared at his phone, his pulse pounding against his temples. With a steadying breath, he pressed play on the encrypted audio file attached to the anonymous message. What echoed through the speaker was not the muffled ambient noise of a maritime breeze, but crystal clear, high-definition audio recorded inside the super yacht's private stateroom. Queen Camilla's voice was unmistakably distinct, speaking in measured, secretive tones to the European defense tycoon. "Charles's health is far more unstable than the public can ever know," her voice declared softly over the recording, devoid of her usual polished public warmth. "When the transition happens, William cannot be allowed total control over the estate distributions or the royal trusts. We are finalizing the restructuring documents now. Once signed under international maritime jurisdiction, the Royal Council won't be able to overturn it, even if William fights back." The revelation hit with the force of an artillery shell. The yacht trip was never a holiday. It was a clandestine, off-grid business meeting executed far beyond the reach of British parliamentary oversight. The goal? A covert legal maneuver to alter the governance of multi-billion-dollar royal trusts, diverting administrative authority and massive financial assets away from Prince William and toward an independent advisory board controlled by Camilla's closest allies. The leaked photos weren't an accident, nor were they a simple publicity stunt. They were a controlled smokescreen, a deliberate, outrageous media scandal cooked up by Camilla's team to dominate every global headline, ensuring the press and the public would look at the glamour and the breach of protocol, completely missing the quiet, legal execution of the trust restructuring. Within 3 hours of the audio reaching William's desk, the digital landscape didn't just explode. It ruptured. A rogue investigative journalist on X, formerly Twitter, published a 14-part verified thread detailing rumors of unprecedented financial restructuring within the Duchy reserves executed in international waters. The thread went viral instantly, gaining over 45 million views in under 4 hours. The hashtag royal treason began trending at #1 globally, accompanied by millions of furious posts, memes, and speculation threads. Fake and leaked internal emails began circulating across Reddit and TikTok, allegedly showing panicked exchanges between high-ranking Buckingham Palace legal advisors. One viral post from a prominent royal commentary account read, "Leaked memos reveal Prince William has called an emergency session of the Privy Council without the King's formal consent. He is treating this as an active constitutional coup attempt." The reaction from the global elite was instantaneous and brutal. Hollywood A-listers, international diplomats, and political figures who had maintained close ties with the monarchy began publicly scrubbing their schedules. High-profile charities affiliated with the Queen Consort suddenly began releasing vague statements postponing upcoming galas, citing unforeseen administrative restructuring. Prominent political commentators on major British and American news networks abandoned their usual polite restraint. On a live broadcast, a senior political analyst openly stated, "If these audio leaks are authenticated, we are no longer looking at royal family drama. We are looking at a fundamental crisis of governance that threatens the stability of the entire British crown. Back at Kensington Palace, Prince William's strategy shifted from defense to absolute, scorched earth retaliation. He called a midnight assembly of his most trusted legal minds, intelligence operatives, and communications chiefs. Standing before the emergency task force, William delivered a cold, unyielding ultimatum. No statements. No polite palace diplomacy. We strip their access immediately. Before the sun rose over London, William executed a move that left the entire royal establishment paralyzed with shock. Utilizing his legal authority as the Prince of Wales and primary heir to the throne's physical estate assets, William issued an unprecedented emergency administrative lockout. He revoked the palace security credentials of Queen Camilla's entire personal secretarial staff. Within minutes, armed officers from the Royalty and Specialist Protection Command descended upon Clarence House, quietly escorting Camilla's private secretary and communications team off the premises and seizing their official encrypted laptops and communications devices for forensic audit. It was a declaration of total, uncompromising war. Never in modern history had an heir to the throne stripped the active Queen Consort's office of its operational capabilities in the middle of the night. When news of the raid leaked to the international press at 5 a.m., the media frenzy reached a fever pitch. TV helicopters hovered over Kensington and Clarence House, broadcasting live feeds of blacked-out SUVs speeding between royal residences. Yet, just as Camilla's remaining legal team scrambled to draft an emergency injunction against William's actions, a second, far more terrifying reveal dropped from the darkness. William's cyber-forensic team, while analyzing the seized laptops from Camilla's office, unlocked a hidden vault of digitized historical records dated from late 1996, just months before the tragic passing of Princess Diana. Buried inside the files was a series of confidential memos, handwritten notes, and private correspondence between senior courtiers from the 90s, detailing a long-forgotten, highly covert campaign designed to undermine Princess Diana's public credibility during her post-divorce humanitarian work. And sitting right at the center of those archived documents, listed as the primary confidential consultant guiding the media leaks against Diana, was the exact same name written on the Yacht's maritime registry. William stared at the monitor, his knuckles turning stark white as the horrifying truth connected across 3 decades. The betrayal hadn't started on the Yacht. The alliance that plotted to strip his financial authority today was the exact same alliance that had worked in the shadows against his mother 30 years ago. Before William could speak, his chief of staff rushed into the office, face pale, holding an encrypted satellite phone. "Your Royal Highness," the officer whispered, his voice trembling. "It's King Charles. He has just been informed of the raid. And he says if you do not step down immediately, he will be forced to make an announcement that will change your status forever." The fallout from Prince William's midnight raid and the leaked audio tapes did not just shake the royal household. It shattered global media, sending shockwaves across every major news network, social media platform, and financial market on the planet. By dawn, the story had transcended traditional royal reporting and escalated into a global geopolitical feeding frenzy. On X, formerly Twitter, the global public square fractured into absolute chaos. Over 120 million posts carrying hashtags like hashtag I stand with William, hashtag Camilla treason, hashtag abolish the monarchy, and hashtag royal coup overwhelmed server infrastructure, forcing platform engineers to monitor real-time traffic spikes. Online communities divided into fiercely warring camps. Supporters of Prince William launched digital movements to flood royal comment sections with images of Princess Diana, declaring William the ultimate defender of his mother's legacy and the rightful, unyielding heir to the crown. Conversely, defenders of the Queen Consort and traditional palace protocol claimed William's direct intervention crossed a dangerous constitutional line. Influential political commentators and legal scholars took to live streams, debating whether an heir to the throne had the legal authority to effectively seize state-level operational control and lock out the Queen Consort's office without parliamentary sign-off. Inside the media industry, the reaction was nothing short of a total frenzy. Major news networks across the United Kingdom, the United States, Europe, and Australia cancelled scheduled programming to launch 24-hour crisis broadcasts. Veteran royal anchors, accustomed to reading carefully vetted palace press releases, sat in visible shock on live television as unverified leaks, audio transcripts, and security camera footage of armed protection officers outside Clarence House flashed across global screens. Emergency broadcasts featured former high-ranking intelligence officials analyzing the leaked yacht recordings, while international legal experts warned that if the alleged maritime trust restructures were verified, It could trigger an immediate parliamentary inquiry, forcing the Prime Minister to address the House of Commons. The financial and diplomatic elite immediately began cutting ties to distance themselves from the radioactive scandal. High-profile international corporate sponsors, luxury brands, and philanthropic organizations holding royal warrants quietly pulled their logos from promotional materials. Multi-billion-dollar charitable trusts affiliated with the royal household saw emergency board resignations overnight as executives scrambled to protect their corporate reputations from being dragged into a historic constitutional nightmare. In Hollywood and global high society circles, prominent celebrities and public figures who had previously boasted close friendships with senior royals scrubbed their social media channels, canceling public appearances with royal representatives. Leaked text threads between top international public relations executives revealed the sheer panic gripping high society networks. Do not mention the royal family in any press releases. Do not attend any galas. The entire structure is burning to the ground from the inside. The public divide reached a boiling point on the streets of London. Thousands of citizens began gathering outside the gates of Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace, holding improvised placards, chanting slogans, and engaging in heated arguments with one another. International news crews filmed intense confrontations between passionate royal loyalists demanding King Charles step in to restore order, and angry protesters demanding the immediate dissolution of the monarchy altogether. The gates of the royal residences were surrounded by heavy armed police presence, creating an atmosphere that felt less like a modern constitutional democracy, and more like a nation on the brink of an historic institutional collapse. As the sun reached its peak, a sensational, unverified social media post from a high-profile whistleblower account claimed that several foreign governments were reviewing diplomatic security protocols regarding royal state visits. The claim suggested that global leaders were hesitant to engage with the British household until the war between the heir to the throne and the Queen consort was resolved. Every news ticker on Earth was frozen on a single, burning question. Would Prince William obey the King's ultimatum to stand down? Or would he unleash the damning historical evidence seized from Camilla's office and bring the entire royal power structure down with him? The public was paralyzed, the media was screaming for answers, and the global audience sat glued to their screens, waiting for the final blade to fall. The heavy mahogany doors of the private briefing room at Kensington Palace slammed shut, sealing Prince William inside with his core inner circle, as the high-stakes ultimatum from King Charles hung in the air like heavy smoke. The King's message had been crystal clear. Stand down, return the seized forensic servers, and publicly issue a joint statement of unity alongside Queen Camilla, or face an immediate royal decree that would alter the royal succession chain forever. To the rest of the world, William appeared trapped in a corner, forced to choose between backing down or risking his future title. But what palace aides and senior courtiers didn't realize was that Prince William had already anticipated the King's reaction. And he was 3 steps ahead in a game of high-stakes chess that had been quietly set up years ago. William walked slowly over to his desk, picking up an encrypted flash drive that had just been handed to him by his senior cybersecurity lead. The drive didn't just contain the seized 1996 documents regarding Princess Diana, nor did it just hold the audio recordings from the Mediterranean superyacht. Buried within the deepest layer of the encrypted servers seized during the midnight raid was a confidential, highly classified folder stamped with the personal seal of the late Queen Elizabeth II. As William decrypted the files, the entire room went completely silent. The documents revealed a secret, legally binding codicil signed by Queen Elizabeth II just months before her passing, a legal override specifically created to activate in the event of an institutional breach or financial restructuring attempt involving non-blood royal members. The late Queen, well aware of the complex internal dynamics and potential power struggles that would follow her departure, had quietly established an irrevocable protective clause. Under this secret royal instrument, any attempt to modify or divert royal trusts outside of bloodline heirs without the explicit, written consent of both the reigning monarch and the Prince of Wales instantly rendered all executive powers of the Queen consort null and void. Queen Camilla's high-stakes yacht deal wasn't just unethical. It was an illegal trigger that automatically revoked her legal standing within the royal trust governance. Prince William stared at the document, a cold, resolute expression taking over his features. The smokescreen was blown wide open. Camilla's team hadn't just been trying to quietly alter financial accounts. They were frantically trying to change the rules before this hidden codicil was ever discovered. Before William could draft his response to the King, his private encrypted line chimed once more. It was a live video transmission notification originating from an untraceable, satellite encrypted network based in Geneva. William accepted the call on his private tablet. On the screen appeared a high-ranking European financial investigator, sitting in a dimly lit office surrounded by stacks of audited documents. The investigator didn't waste time with formalities. "Your Royal Highness," the man said in a low tone, "the yacht records we decrypted were only half the story. The defense tycoon Queen Camilla met with was not working alone. The offshore entities receiving the diverted funds are registered to a hidden parent company, and the ultimate beneficiary listed on the official incorporation deeds isn't Queen Camilla." William's eyes narrowed. "Who is it?" The investigator paused, taking a deep breath before holding a single legal document up to the camera lens. "The ultimate beneficiary of the offshore accounts is a non-profit foundation registered under the personal name of Prince Harry." The room froze in total, absolute shock. The ultimate betrayal wasn't just a feud between an heir and a queen consort. The threads of the plot stretched far beyond London, connecting back to the absolute highest levels of the royal family's deepest, most explosive rift. Camilla hadn't been acting solely for her own inner circle. She had forged a covert, desperate alliance with Duke of Sussex's legal representatives to orchestrate an unprecedented financial and structural overhaul of the crown from the outside. Prince William slowly lowered the tablet, his breathing calm, his decision made. He turned to his chief communications director. "Cancel the emergency press release," William commanded, his voice steady as steel. "Prepare a live, direct-to-camera broadcast for tomorrow morning. We aren't doing damage control anymore. The war for the British monarchy has not been avoided. It has only just begun. What dark secrets bound Camilla and Harry together? How deep does this web of betrayal truly go? And what will happen when William reveals the late Queen's final directive to the world live tomorrow morning? The crown will never be the same again. This is without a doubt the most shocking, explosive, and historical crisis the British royal family has ever faced, and the drama is far from over. Now, I want to hear directly from all of you down in the comments below. Do you think Prince William made the right move by seizing control and exposing this web of secrets? Was Queen Camilla working to protect herself? Or was this a calculated betrayal against the future king alongside Prince Harry? How do you think King Charles will respond when William reveals the late Queen's secret codicil to the world? Drop your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments right now. Let's get the debate going. If this mind-blowing update kept you on the edge of your seat, make sure to hit that like button immediately. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on all post notifications so you never miss a single second of this breaking royal saga. We're tracking this story around the clock, and as soon as Prince William goes live with his direct broadcast tomorrow morning, we will bring you the immediate breakdown right here. You do not want to miss what comes next. Hit that subscribe button now, share this video with your friends, and stay tuned for our urgent follow-up update dropping very soon.